Yo, what it do, Wealth Champions, Hustle Nation. It is time for us to talk about his and hers hustle, ladies and gentlemen. A couple that hustles together stays together. Is that what they say? Hey, we're going to find out today because I got a beautiful couple on that's going to talk to you all about how they got their start in entrepreneurship and how they are building an empire together. So I want you to go ahead and comment in the chat where you're from, drop the name of your business and or your brand, and let me know, are you hustling with your mate? I want to know. I want to hear from you. And of course, if you guys got questions for this beautiful couple, make sure you put them in the chat and I'll try to get to as many of those questions as I absolutely can. But it's a beautiful thing to see our brothers and sisters working together in harmony and making it all work. And I believe more couples want to go down this path. They just don't know how. So that's why I'm bringing this couple to you today. So let's officially start the show. But you've got to overcome fear if you're going to win.
You're tuned into the Cortez Hustle Show. Please like and subscribe.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cortez Hustle Show. I am, of course, your host, Cortez Hustle, also known as the one and only financial health mentor, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur from MonetizeMyLifeAcademy.com, where we're on a mission, man, to help people who are in the area of entrepreneurship who are not able to figure out how to take their business online, how to use social media to build brand and create awareness about what they have to offer. We have a mastermind, guys, starting at $10 per month that will allow you to connect with other entrepreneurs all over the world and really network. And we do training every single month. And there's different levels. So if you are not part of a mastermind, whether you get part of mine or someone else's, you're missing out, man. So go to MonetizeMyLifeAcademy.com to check out the mastermind, the different package levels, because we go from basic all the way up to pro, and you'll see everything that you have the ability to get access to. And I don't know why I'm buzzing and humming, but nevertheless, do me a favor, go ahead and comment in the chat if you have not already, the name of your business and or your brand. And also make sure you smash that share button. A couple quick announcements before I bring on our very special guest today. You guys know that we are definitely going to get to the question of the day. You also know that we're going to get to the quote of the day. And then we got our 1 minute motivation, being that this is the celebration of the late, great legend, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Everything is going to be around and based on the great doctor and his legacy and his work. So a couple quick announcements. One thing I want to do, man, I absolutely want to thank all of you guys who came over to the Empowerment Duo page and watch your boy throw down on Belief in a Cycle of Success. I appreciate the support. That was a wonderful event. And I thank Lisa Santiago McNeil and Brian Keith McNeil for inviting me to come share my thoughts on how to create a global domination mindset. And that's what we were talking about. So that event is still up if you want to go to the Empowerment Duo, but it's only going to be up for, I think, the next 24 hours. And then you're going to have to buy it if you want the replay. So go check that out before the day ends. We talked a little bit about the digital mastermind for Monetize My Life, man. And then also, if you have a product or service and you are looking for a way to get some notoriety to increase your brand, then the Cortez Hustle Show, we are looking for sponsors for some of our segments in the show in general. That sponsorship also comes with branding and marketing training on how we can take your brand to the next level, as well as getting commercials in and through the show as well. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to a very, very special couple that I've come to know, like, and respect based on their work that that they're doing with their brand, their work that they're doing in the community, in their ministry, and how, more importantly, they are trying to help other people really get to the next level and do some of the things and model some of the things that they're doing. You guys hear me say it all the time, man, but we cannot afford to hoard information. I'm gonna say it again. We cannot afford to hoard information. So this couple pours from their heart all the time, and they're trying to build up the community. And I think that's commendable. I think that is something that we are to celebrate. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce to some and present to others Mr. Amari and Mrs. Amani Amari. Let me bring them up. How you guys doing this morning?
Well, thank you.
Excellent.
All praises be.
Awesome. Well, you guys are starting to become one of my favorite couples on the planet.
Yes, sir.
So I love what you guys are doing. I love what you guys represent. And so let's just dive on in, man. Talk about where did it all begin for you two? Where did it start? How long you've been together? And was it love at first sight, or how did it all happen?
Well, we actually connected through a mutual friend. And I seen my queen picture on Facebook, and I was like, my goodness, who is that? You know what I'm saying? I'm going in.
Okay.
What you gonna do is tell me no. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't afraid, brother. I seen the queen, man. So, I inboxed her, and then we started talking to each other. And come to find out, we had a mutual friend, and we didn't even know it. You know what I'm saying? And so we ended up meeting together at our friend's house in South Carolina, and that's where I met my queen. And when I seen her, it was just like, wow, like, man, she's so beautiful, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like her spirit and her countenance, outwardly. You know what I mean? And so when I seen her, man, I was like, yeah, I said, I'm in there. I said, if she's as beautiful on the inside, she is out, we good, like forever.
Love it. Now, Amani, give us the real story.
that part is true. We did a mutual friend. At that time, he was a bishop, and I remember her telling me about the bishop, and I was like, "Is the bishop fine? Is he fine?" So we did connect and we did meet up. But when I did meet my king, I call him my king and he calls me his queen.
Indeed.
When I did meet him, I found that he was a man of character. He was a man's man. He was a man of leadership. He was what I was looking for.
Let me ask you this.
I'm a bad man.
let me ask you this, Amani. If he was not fine, would he have a chance? And I'm going somewhere with this, but give me your honest. If he was not fine, where would he be today?
He still would have had a chance because I wasn't really looking for. I was looking for a man of character and integrity. I was looking for, like I said, a man's man. That supersedes a whole lot of this other fine. But the fact that he's fine,
Look, icing on the cake.
That's an extra.
Yeah. And I so appreciate that answer because there's a lot of us out there, a lot of men's men, a lot of men of character. We just don't look like Idris Elba. We just don't look like Michael Ealy, but we ready to step in, take care of a family, build an empire with you. And if you clean us up a little bit, you never know, that ugly duckling might become something that so many sisters are, passing up, waiting on that outwardly. And I think that's messing a lot of folks up, man. But nevertheless, we've got a couple things that we like to do on the Cortez Hustle Show. One of them being the question of the day. So I'm going to give you guys the question of the day, but we save our answers until the end. But I want to give it to the audience today. The question of the day being, it is the birthday celebration for the late, great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I want to ask each and every one of you guys, what about Dr. King's legacy has impacted you the most? Question of the day. What about Dr. King's legacy has impacted you the most? And for those of you who are new to the show, let me just share with you this real quick. Every week, if you participate in the question of the day, you get entered into a drawing and a chance to win a free vacation. That's right, a free vacation if you answer the question of the day. But in order for us to know that you are responding to the question of the day, you need to put in QOTD and then give us your answer. We try to read as many of them on the air as we can, but just know if you answer all of them, will be entered into the drawing. And every Wednesday at noon is when we do our question of the day drawing for the Cortez Hustle Show. What about Dr. King's legacy has impacted you the most? So give us your answers, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to continue our conversation with the wonderful power couple, Amari and Amani Amari. So we know that you guys saw each other and you saw the beauty, then you realized the inner beauty, and it was on from there, right? How long you guys been together?
5 years, going on 6.
Okay, I figured it couldn't have been too long because you said Facebook. Y'all met on Facebook. Facebook ain't that old. So that's pretty cool. Now, most of our listeners want to understand what it's like to be in this whole entrepreneurship game together as couples. I know a little bit about Amari's story, military, and thank you so much for your service, brother. I tell you all the time.
Welcome.
I would not be able to participate in this free enterprise system and build my wealth if it wasn't for brothers like you defending our democracy. So thank you so much for that, my friend. But I don't know your story, Amani. Where did you come from? Were you corporate? Were you coming from that world, or were you always on the entrepreneurship side?
No, I came from corporate. Prior to me going into entrepreneurship full time, I worked at a hospital for more than 16 years. And of course, prior to that, I worked in other organizations. But yes, I was corporate. Gotcha.
Okay. So who got bit by the entrepreneurial bug first? Was it Amani or was it Amari?
My queen. She was actually the one that had inspired me for she and I to go into business together. She had presented to me a dream in regards to real estate.
Okay.
She told me about her story, and also, she was doing sales on eBay as well prior to she and I getting together. And so, we was actually sitting down strategizing and thinking up a blueprint that we can establish for us to be able to build business base and generational wealth via investing. And so that's the arena that we had went into.
And it was imperative because I wanted to leave that corporate job. You know, prior to me meeting my king, there were some things that were already set in motion that we were able to tap into when I did decide, or we decided, that I would no longer work.
Gotcha. And did you guys start having these conversations during the dating phase, or was it after the commitment phase that you guys wanted to start transition?
It was afterwards, because we were actually together at that time when we had that discussion. We was actually in a relationship at that time.
We committed fairly quickly.
It didn't take long for me to snap you are no longer available.
Not at all, man. So I knew she was the one. It was something that never had happened to me before, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I literally heard it the first time I met her, the first date, and I thought I was bananas. You know what I'm saying? I was like, whoa, wait a minute. But I heard, the prompting in my spirit, that she's the one, and of course, I'm saying, I said, wait a minute, let me hold on for a minute. And then eventually, I seen it, it all came together, man. I was like, man, she really is truly the one. This woman, she never asked me for nothing. Never, man. The way she carried herself, well-spoken, ambitious, and I love that, man. I love a woman who takes dominion, and she didn't need me. That's what I loved about it. She didn't need me the way I felt. We used to debate about this. I promise you, bro, we used to debate about that. She didn't like when I said that. But, you know, I was just talking about her being an independent woman to where, you know, she already had everything she wanted. So I knew that she didn't want anything from me except for me.
Man, that is powerful. And I'm going to let you weigh in on that, Amani, because a lot of women don't realize how important it is for a man to feel wanted, not needed, but wanted, because what you want is a choice. What you need is not so much, because you'll do whatever you got to do to get what you need. But when you want me, that's a choice. So is that true that you didn't need him, but you wanted him, and you intentionally chose to want to build with the brother?
Absolutely. I would say that on day one, when we met through the mutual friend in South Carolina, we did go on a walk, and he began to tell me some of the things that he had, that he was coming. He's not coming empty-handed, so to speak. Mm-hmm. He wasn't coming empty-handed with nothing to offer, which is fine. And that's what that wasn't what it was about. You know, he said something about insurance. I was like, cool, but I have insurance. He said something about, you know, home. Cool, but I have a home, you know, and it wasn't about that. I was in search of a pure heart, some clean hands, some integrity, some character, some, you know, someone that's going to lead. You know, that's what I was looking for. And he gave me all of that. And so when we went off into entrepreneurship, I just am very, very grateful that it wasn't where he rebutted or said, no, you know, I got another plan. We going west, you know, instead of going east. I'm just so grateful within myself that he was humble enough to realize, and he had a lot of sight to see, you know, he couldn't see, he trusted.
Gotcha. I love that. And I've got to bring the S word up, because I think it is important because you keep saying you were looking for character. You were looking for a man's man. You were looking for someone that could lead, right? A lot of women who have everything they already need seem to have an issue with the word submission, because they think that submission is about weakness, and submission is not about weakness. It's about trust, right? So talk a little bit about saying, okay, I'm independent, but I finally found a man that can lead. I'm not going to run him away by trying to wear the pants too, right? How did you figure that whole dynamic out and really just say, okay, he's the one, he's demonstrated his ability to lead, so I'm gonna let him lead?
Well, you know, it was something that we decided together that we would walk beside each other. I wouldn't be in front of him, I wouldn't be in back of him, I wouldn't be under him, I wouldn't be over him. We're together. Good. You know, is there somebody wearing pants? He has one leg and I have the other. We walking in pants together. You know, whatever it takes, we're doing together. And people have to realize that you can launch out, and your venture you can go even further if you work together. You know what I'm saying? If you come together in like minds. And when it comes to our business and entrepreneurship, what happened? He had something to offer to the business that I didn't have, and I had something to offer to the business that he didn't have. And when we came together, it was like dynamite. It was like rocket fuel, because I never suppressed the gifts that's on the inside of him, and he never suppressed the gifts and the talents that's on the inside of me. So there's really no above, beyond, and all of this. We're together. We are together.
Side by side, walking in stride. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to answer the question of the day. What impact has the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Had the most on your life, right? What about Dr. King's legacy has impacted your life the most? And we have Sharita Robinson. Welcome to the stream. I see you out there on YouTube. And she said, Dr. King was his persistent determination and the vision of seeing his dream come to pass. His faith surpassed the struggle that he encountered, and he never, ever quit. Well, we're going to get Amani and Amari's take on the question of the day later on in the show, as well as my take. So thank you so much for that, Sharita, and answering the question of the day. We also like to do something on the show called the quote of the day, and I would like to get you guys takeaway on this real quick. But before we do that, these guys have a powerful brand that I've got to share with you. It's called a Keep It On Lifestyle, and I want you guys to see firsthand before we get to our quote of the day what these guys are bringing to the table. So keep it locked right here.
Service your African men's and women's clothing, accessories, health, and wellness product needs. Visit alkebulanlife.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cortez Hustle Show. I am your host, Cortez Hustle, also known as the one and only financial health mentor, sitting here with this lovely couple, Amari and Amani Amari, founders of our Keep It On Lifestyle, and a host of other stuff that we're going to get into, because when I say they are doing it and doing it well. So I want to get you guys' take on the quote of the day and celebration of the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I pulled this quote and it says, "Freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed." One more time. Freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressed. It must be demanded. I'm sorry, it's not given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I agree. You have to fight for your freedom. And as the statement is, give me liberty or give me death. It's just a fact. We had to fight for the freedoms that we have today. So, I mean, that's just a proven fact. You can't expect the enemy to just go ahead and be free. Nah. They enslaved us. You know what I'm saying? So they took us by force. So we got to take our freedom by force. We have to take it back the same way. You know what I'm saying? That they had taken away from us was by force, so we had to get it back by that.
Absolutely.
I believe liberation starts in the mind, though, first. No one would ever do that until, they're first confident in their mind, about the power that they have. A lot of us, we feel like we're powerless, what I mean? And so the Honorable Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he actually has always been one of my favorite civil rights leaders. You know what I'm saying? Ever since I was in my adolescent years, I've always looked up to him because of selfless sacrifice. He laid down his life so we can have a better life, and so we can regain the liberation that we had prior to being enslaved. He just did it in a different way. He fought peacefully. He may not have been a violent man, but I still respect his methodology at that time. That he used, and it obviously was an effective tool because we had some things put in policy, that helped to somewhat defend us, if you will.
Absolutely. I think his fearlessness, and I hate to use that word because there's no such thing as fearlessness, right? There's courage. We all have fear, but it's moving in spite of the fear. And what's funny about that particular quote, that was actually from his letters from the Birmingham City Jail. So even locked up and in jail, he's thinking about the people. He's thinking about how to bless, how to encourage. And like you said, he was working on the minds of the people who were oppressed so that they can feel that they deserve liberation, because you're not going to fight for anything that you don't feel like you deserve. And once you got us at that point, then it was on, man. It was on. So go ahead, Amani.
No, I just was going to say, I mean, it's just so significant. He was locked up in a physical jail, but he was liberated in his mind.
Yeah.
So he was free in his mind. And because he was free in his mind, he set out to set the other captives free. You know, even though he was physically locked up, he was still trying to set people free.
That was big, guys. Don't forget to answer the question of the day. Put QOTD. The question of the day is, what about Dr. King's legacy has impacted you the most? If you answer that question with QOTD, you get entered into the drawing. And this Wednesday, we do the drawing at noon Central, and you get to see if you will win the free vacation. Now, you guys have the real estate business growing and booming, but then you also have the Akibalan lifestyle brand, where you guys have the apparel, you have the scents and the smell goods and the body care. And I know that taking care of the temple is important to you guys, but let's talk about that to the audience, man. I see you working out live on your videos, Amari, and I know that you feel that that's an important piece to, you know, self-confidence and all that kind of stuff, man. So talk about how you get into that, and then what birthed the Akibalan lifestyle.
It was my queen and I, we actually started looking for some African attire to wear. After my consciousness had shifted, listening to my Walelu, Dr. AK, which Swahili is a teacher. I heard him at a men's event, and you know, he brought out the same questions that our ancestor, the Honorable Malcolm X, had brought up, like, you know, who made you ashamed, you know, of being basically who and what you are, to condense what he said, you know. And after that, I recognized, like, wow, you know, I'm an African. I talk like a European. I dress like a European. You know? So I'm just being honest with you, man. You know, so after that, I was like, yeah, why don't we speak our language, and why don't we dress? You know, so you know what I did? I wanted to take it to another level, man. You know, I wanted to embrace who I am in its entirety, my spirituality and my attire. So, you know, my queen and I, we went on a journey, and to our surprise, it was like slim to none. You know, at that time, you know, so we said, okay, won't we fill in the gap? We seen that it was missing, and we said, okay, let's do something to bring this attire to our community, so those who want to express their pride of self outwardly will be able to provide that need to them. Yeah.
And you said something that really crushed. You didn't step on my toes, brother. You crushed my toes, because I'm one of those guys who said, man, dashiki just looks silly on me, right? This attire looks, I look at her, man, that looks so fly. I go to your website. Matter of fact, let me pull up your website. I go to your website and I'm looking at, I'm like, man, that looks fly. But how can one, and I heard you say you went through a mindset shift. Can you talk us through how you got to that place? Because I'm like, when I'm looking at this brother right here, right, I'm like, man, that looks dope. But then I have a qualifier. That looks dope on him. And I'm thinking about what it's gonna look like on me.
It's gonna look different.
I deal with what most people deal with when it comes to fear, because really, I know it'll look dope on me too, but I'm saying to myself, what are other people gonna think about it? So what was that mindset shift like that you went through, that you said, hey, this is my culture, this is who I am, and I'm going to represent?
Well, honestly, man, once I tried the clothing on, it's the Yarana, clothing that my friend that I told you about, Dr. AK had presented to me, and I wore the clothing. Mm-hmm. And to be honest with you, brother, Cortez, man, it wore better than the stuff I was buying from the malls, brother.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was so comfortable. Seriously, the quality, and everything else like that, and I was in touch with myself, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It made me feel good. Like, I was proud of, my culture, you know what I'm saying, which is inclusive with your attire, and so you asked how the mindset got there, and it was through him. Again, that message that I aforementioned that had challenged my thinking about why aren't you embracing who you really are? You know what I'm saying? And so I she like my queen says, I have a strong personality. So I'm like, I don't care who though, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, listen, they can embrace who they are, then I can embrace who I am.
Right.
And,
you know what I mean?
And then he went into the closet and took all his clothes, all of his polo, all of his everything that was that he, thought to be European, and put it all in a bag and went down to, where did you take me?
The homeless
shelter. And I was like, oh man, you just got rid of all your clothes. So it's definitely, I mean, it's just like you have that shirt on, it just doesn't have a collar.
Right. Gotcha.
It's a shirt without a collar. That's our tradition.
Nice. And how is that brand doing for you guys? We were talking in the green room before we came on. I want you to let people know that it is being embraced. People are having these mindset shifts. And so talk about how well the brand is doing for you guys.
I can say that we're doing $15,000 months, some more, some months we're doing more, because people have embraced the brand, because, my king has spent extensive hours in marketing and networking and doing the things that he does, it's out there. And because I do what I do best, on the administrative side, that's how it's out there. I'm a buyer, I love to shop anyway.
Yes, you know,
and I get things and I put in there, and he makes sure that people know that we have those things. So I remember when we first started to expand, actually it was during the period of the COVID, because we had the store since about 2018 and it was just there. And after COVID came and we couldn't go out and do as much real estate as we, wanted to do or had proposed to do, we were like, okay, what am I going to do? You know what I'm saying? Either I'm going to drive you crazy or you're going to drive me crazy. We're going to expand on what we have. It's almost like what that you have on in your hand. Now you have a chance to expand the business that was given to you some years prior to. So when we began to expand, that's when we started seeing the tens of thousands every month, and the hundreds, even approaching thousands of orders. To you, just to look at our Kibalon lifestyle, it may not look like much to you, but it means a lot to those all over this world. When you expand not just to your backyard, when you expand even your mind, not just to what you can see, but you can expand it to the world, then you're in a much better place. Like I said, if you're going to have a closed mindset, you're not going to get far. You have to take the brakes off. You have to take the walls down. You have to expand your mind.
Absolutely. I say all the time, man, the internet is a great equalizer. I don't need nobody's permission to jump out there and put me a website up and start selling something and start marketing and start doing. So I love that. And then you said something key. You said COVID happened and we just made a pivot. So on the other side of this break, we're going to talk about how that pivot how they really put it together. But then we're going to get to the juicy stuff, y'all. I know y'all want to hear the juicy stuff. How in the heck do they run multiple businesses and a ministry without killing one another that they have to work together all the time, man. So that's the juice that we're going to get to on the other side of this break. Don't forget, answer the question of the day, man. What about Dr. King's legacy has impacted you the most? Put QOTD if you want to be entered into the drawing to win the free vacation that we do every Wednesday at noon Central. So on the other side of this break, we're going to get to the real juice. So keep it locked right here.
Hey, good morning, wealth champions. Hey, listen, if you want to be financially successful, then you have to do what financially successful people do. And I know there's a few things that all wealthy people have in common. Number one, they understand that building wealth is a team sport. Number two, they understand the power of capitalism and business enterprise. Number three, they love to use systems and leverage. And number four, they all have mentors. My name is H. Cortez, also known as Financial Health Mentor. And for the last 5 years, I've been helping hardworking Americans get all of these things in place with one single membership. If you want to learn more about that, go to myperfectmoneyplan.com. Again, that's myperfectmoneyplan.com. And you're going to get a team of professionals, so you're not building wealth by yourself. You're going to get a system that's going to help you transform your finances. And last but not least, you're going to get some great mentorship to help you execute your game plan. So again, go to myperfectmoneyplan.com, and I'll see you on the other side.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cortez Hustle Show. You are listening to and learning from Amari and Amani Amari, power couple extraordinaire.
Yes.
3 businesses, a ministry. They're all over the web and work together 24/7. And as you can see, they're not bad. They haven't killed each other. So what we want to know is how you guys make it work, right? Because it's not easy working with your mate and spending so much time, even when you love your mate, right? It's not easy. Everybody can't pull it off, right? But you guys are doing it well. I see the success. I see the fruit of your labor. You guys wear it well. You guys are humble. But give us the keys, man, to making it work.
Well, you know, it's really that level of maturity that we have, man. Honestly, you know what I'm saying? And plus, we enjoy each other's company. To tell you the truth, man, before the pandemic hit, it's nothing new to us because we had already worked together. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that wasn't nothing new to us, man. You know, we really do enjoy each other's company. You know what I'm saying? Like, we really are friends. You know what I mean? And plus, we give each other that space. You know, we're not always up, even though I know you like, how can you avoid that? You know, she have her alone in the office moments, you know what I'm saying? She have her moments where she listens to her music and she does what she does, you know, so we ensure we give each other that space, man. You know, we're not clingy spouses, you know what I'm saying? Like, right. You know, we give each other that space to be able to have our me time. You know, things of that nature, man. We don't mind that. We don't take that.
Me over here. Nevertheless, go ahead. So you give each other space, even though y'all still under the same roof, which is, you know, that's pretty cool. I can dig that. I can dig that.
And we enjoy each other company. We don't, you know, agitate each other like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, we really don't. You know, we really respect these great deal of respect of one another.
You know, can I add to that?
Yes.
It's all about balance also. You know, yes, we have a huge amount of things that we need to do, but my king, he makes sure that we spend time with each other individually. On a Friday, you know, after we wrap 2 packages or a couple, whatever we have to do, we're out on dates. You know, on Friday, on Saturday morning, we may wrap up a couple packages and take it to the post office. We're out for the rest of the day, you know, and on Sunday, we're, you know, really getting ourselves together, and we're not under each other all the time. You know, on Sunday, you know, he may be on the other side of the house, you know, getting his spiritual development, doing his grooming or what have you. And I'm on the other side of the house. I'm not in his face all the time, and he's not in my face all the time, you know, even though we're in the same home. And another thing, I mean, there are times where I'm in my office working, he's in his office working, and we'll meet up in the kitchen for lunch or for dinner or something like that.
Gotcha.
You know, so
Yep.
Gotcha.
it's working.
We have our jazz music going, man. We keep the fire burning, man. We keep the fire
and the
going,
wine,
you know?
every time we have dinner. So
Yeah.
I feel like
Okay, because that's really what I want to get to, because I said that you guys have figured out how to be homies, lovers, friends, and business partners.
Definitely.
And y'all was gonna tell us how y'all keep it sexy from the boardroom to the bedroom, man. So
Yes, sir.
the jazz and the wine, the dating each other, the still, hey, you have your space. Let me miss you for a couple hours, and then let's come back together and love on each other and hug on each other. Let's still plan, plot, and strategize how we're gonna take over the world like Pinky in the Brain. Man, I absolutely love that. Really quickly, guys, the Cortez Hustle Show loves to do a segment called 1 Minute Motivation. And again, in honor and in celebration of the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., today's 1 minute motivation is probably going to get me in trouble because I don't have permission to share this clip. But nevertheless, I think it is powerful, and it goes along the lines with the quote of the day as well. So I want to share with you 1 minute of this particular clip, and I want to get you guys' takeaways on it, but I think it's powerful. So I want to share it with you guys. So this is 1 minute motivation on the Cortez Hustle Show.
We don't have to argue with anybody. We don't have to curse and go around acting bad with our words. We don't need any bricks and bottles. We don't need any Molotov cocktails. We just need to go around to these stores and to these massive industries in our country and say, God sent us by here to say to you that you're not treating his children right. And we come by here to ask you to make the first item on your agenda fair treatment where God's children are concerned. Now, if you are not prepared to do that, we do have an agenda that we must follow. And our agenda calls for withdrawing economic support from you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cortez Hustle Show. We are in the middle of a segment that I like to call 1 minute motivation. Guys, everybody talks about buying black and spending black and pooling our resources. There's not a whole lot of people doing it, though. We like to talk about it, but you guys are actually giving people an outlet and the ability to do that. So give me one or two takeaways from that particular clip.
Okay. What I gather from that is cooperative economics.
Yeah.
What I also gather from that is that we have to stand up for what's right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we're being treated wrong, and we just can't sit down and expect something to happen without us putting forth the work for it to change. You know, what I like about the Honorable Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is that he believed in push. Mm-hmm. And that acronym stands for praying and performing until something happens.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's something that I recognize that he talked about. You know what I'm saying? He like, you know, look, I'm not going to be violent. You know, but we are going to fight you now. We understand we're going to fight you. We're not going to be violent about it, but we're going to take a stand. And we're going to let you know, appreciate the way that you're treating us. And if you keep treating us this way, then guess what? We're going to have to take action, and which they did. He didn't just talk about it. See, he was being about it. And that's one thing I love about him.
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody asked us that clip on YouTube. It's actually a little bit longer. Here is the link, the channel. Let me show some love to and respect to the channel that I got it from. It's called Black History Walks is the name of that channel on YouTube. And that clip is about 5 minutes long. He really goes into naming companies specifically, saying, hey, this company, that company, and the likes. We're gonna pull our money from you guys. Amani, you have a takeaway?
Yeah, the whole thing of togetherness, you know, to do things together, to walk together, to be lockstep. As I mentioned in prior, you know, when speaking, my husband, we're together. You can get further when you're in unity and you have togetherness. And in regards to the Black businesses, I do see that we do support each other. Perhaps maybe we need to know about each other a lot more, which is why we created Synergetic Network Group back in 2017, in order for businesses to connect with each other.
That's right.
So here in Memphis and a lot of things that we do, we try to support Black businesses. I tell you, we go to the cupcake place every week. I say, listen, I don't know if I can stand up to these 2 dozen of cupcakes every week. You know, it ain't gonna look right on the scale. We go and we get our dozens of cupcakes every week, and then we go to the African restaurant just to do whatever.
Vegan.
And,
vegan
for him. And then we go and we try and purchase our products from places of black businesses, even if they sell the same thing that we do. We go to the African place here, knowing we sell African merchandise.
Exactly.
We'll go and we know we can get it at wholesale, but we go there just to support the business.
That's right, sweetheart.
I love it. And that's the thing, man. You got to be intentional about this thing. And I believe there is an awakening in the consciousness of a lot of folks, because realize that if we're not spending with each other, then we can't complain about other cultures, or I like to say other families, because that's what this thing really is. Those are families, just like we are families. So how can I expect another family to hire my kid? Right. And that's what we're actually doing. Is like, hey, we want to cry and complain when, Malcolm X said it the best. Hey, man, that man created factories and stuff for his community. We can't just be mad and barge up in there and make that man hire us. We got to do the same thing on our end. One of my takeaways, he said he invited the companies to change, right? Hey, you're not treating us well. Go ahead and start treating us well. But if you don't, then we got to do what we got to do. So he invited them to change. He took a stance and said, listen, y'all ain't changing. All right. And then he hit them where it hurts.
That's right.
Withdraw our economic power and see how you like that. So that was takeaways from 1 Minute Motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show. You guys are listening to and learning from Amari and Amani Amari, power couple extraordinaire. Amani, you mentioned synergistic. Is it synergetic?
Synergetic.
Synergetic network, where talk about how that came together and what can entrepreneurs expect if they want to plug into something like that?
Synergetic Network Group was Amar's baby. I just, put a little super on his natural.
That's right.
He came out with the idea that we needed some sort of a Black business directory, some sort of a network group.
That's right. So
that we all could gather together and network with each other. So I'll let him tell you about Synergetic Network Group.
Well, synergy. I actually heard a good elder of mine. He utilized synergy. And I went to go look up the word. One day it just dawned on me, go look up that word. And then I love what the definition of that word stood for. It's when there is a common goal and a collective effort, and that goal can't be accomplished without the collective. So that's what synergy, the root word in synergetic, actually means. It means to accomplish a goal together that one cannot do individually. Cooperative economics. And so Synergetic Network Group, as we say, our slogan is, we are the community liaison for entrepreneurs and consumers. So we wanted to take the African owned and operated businesses to the masses. In other words, a modern day green book, if you will, for our people. And so also we can know about one another, because as I always say, nobody can buy a product or pay for a service that they don't know anything about.
That's right.
So I noticed that we didn't really know a whole lot about each other. Where's the African owned and operated car washes and et cetera, so we really wanted to support our own, and I said, the only way we can do that is if we know about each other. And so that's the reason why we birthed that ministry again. We seen that there was a gap missing, there was something missing there, and we filled it in.
I love that, man, because you are so right, man. Sometimes because I don't think we understand the power of marketing and media, right? And that when you don't understand that, it makes it hard for us to shop with some of our brothers and sisters because they don't understand how using a medium like Facebook, which is free, could actually build and bring business to them. And that's why I got into the whole digital marketing space, because I want our people to understand the power in these mediums and bring their brands online and make it easy, because that's what I don't think we get is because of our conditioning, we sometimes say, hey, I don't want my business over here because there's another business over here that does a similar thing, right? You got to understand how to model success. When you drive down the boulevard, you see McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, and other burger joints. You see Kentucky Fried Chicken, Lee's Chicken, Church's Chicken, Popeye's Chicken, all on the same corner. Why? Because it makes it easy for people to patronize, and we've got to pick that up from and start creating. And I love that synergetic network, because you're creating a place, a centralized location where everybody can show up. And now I don't have to drive on the west side of town and get my clothes clean and then drive back on the east side of town to eat and drive on the south side of town. You guys are bringing all that together, and I love it. So really quickly, if you have not answered the question of the day, is, what about Dr. Martin Luther King's legacy has impacted you the most? You have to put QOTD in your answer if you want to be entered into the drawing. If you just want to answer and you don't care about wanting the free vacation, that's fine too. I'm going to read a couple of these, and then I'm going to ask for you guys to give your takeaways, which you kind of all, been doing throughout the show. But let me see. We had a couple people who said we have power from within that we haven't tapped into.
That's right.
If we understood the power that we have and know our worth, we would realize that we are already free. It's in the mind that portrays freedom. I love that. Thank you so much, Sharita. Let's see. Anybody else on the question of the day? Let's see. Vivian says, just the fact that he was a man who loved his people enough to risk his life to gain their freedoms. Exactly. To care enough about ourselves to want freedom in the first place, to demand and strive for it. He created unity that was almost lost among our people. I love that. Thank you so much, Vivian. So answer QOTD if you want to enter the chance to win a free vacation. His impact. You kind of said what his impact has done for you, Amani. The impact of Dr. King's legacy. I'm going to flip it on you in 2020, right? And in 2021, not just for you, but how has that legacy transformed the world in your eyes?
Well, a quote from Dr. King, he said, if I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way. And that's what I plan to do in 2021. Those things that may seem small in the eyes of some people, I'll just do it big. I'll do what we call small things in a great way, such as promoting unity in a great way, such as, bringing togetherness in a great way, So that's my plan. As Dr. King say, if I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way.
Love it, love it, love it. A couple of my takeaways that I picked up from his legacy, his commitment, number one, because his whole life, you know, at 17, when he graduated Morehouse College, he jumped right in the game with both feet. And he was committed to the day he died to liberating our people. And that was powerful, something that we all could learn, the power of commitment. But the other thing I got from him was watching his evolution. And sometimes we get so trapped and stuck in dogma, even though it's time to pivot and transition. He was not afraid to admit at the closer to the fought hard for integration, and I stand on my decisions because I thought that was the best thing. But I now realize that I might have integrated us into a burning building. So he started to make his pivot to economic empowerment as a way out of the burning building that he integrated us into. And I want everybody to understand, man, it is okay to evolve. Sometimes we get stuck in whether or not we're gonna leave friends behind and all that. Man, listen, all of us was put on here, this earth, for a purpose. And sometimes when you figure that out, you in the middle of a bunch of foolishness with some guys and some gals that, hey, you got to leave them behind to walk in that purpose, and you got to be okay with that. That's was my response to the question of the day here on the Cortez Hustle Show. Guys, this hour has flown by. Tell everybody how they can reach you and everything you guys got going on. What's the best way to connect with you guys?
You can reach us on Instagram and also our website, alkebulanlife.com, ALKEBULANLIFE.com. You can also follow us on Instagram.
The comments.
They can also reach us on Instagram at Kebulan Lifestyle on Instagram and on Facebook, Kebulan Lifestyle on both IG and Facebook.
Awesome, 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 man. So you know how to get in touch with you. They know how to work together as a couple, how to give space and how to dream, how to plan, plot, strategize, how to make it all come together, how to pivot when you run into challenges and change directions. And last words, man, anything you want to say to the people, the power couple in training, what do you guys got to say for them?
Make sure that, you know, it's divine. You know, we're unapologetically spiritual, so we just have to be honest. You know, our connection is divine. We recognize that this was divinely constructed, you know, and just seek out the divine, you know, and be honest with yourself, you know, and be patient and wait, and the right one will, you know, come to you. You know, also love each other, man. You know, love consists of respect. Mm-hmm. You know, to agree with each other all the time. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, and learn each other. You know, learn each other. Learn the man, woman. You know, I mean, man, learn the woman. You know what I'm saying? That's what I have to say.
Gotcha.
And I'll say just allow each other to flow in each individual's gifts. You know, let them be their own individual person, because there's a blessing with someone that's able to present what God placed on the inside of them. It would be selfish for us to snuff out what each other has.
That's right. That's
going to be a productive to society. You know, so just respect that. Allow each other to flow.
Mm-hmm.
Love it, love it, love it, man. So often I hear and pick up in the spirit of women and men that they are trying to change each other, right? And
not
wrong answer, man. Yeah, you can't change anybody, but you can be the inspiration for their change, and that's all you can hope for. That's so, right. Man, I love you guys. Thank you so much for giving up your time this morning. It has been an amazing, wonder-filled, power-filled hour of the Cortez Hustle Show with power couple extraordinaire, Amari and Amani Amari. Thank you guys so much. So y'all know how we do, man. Until we talk to you guys next time, we want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. Now hustle up. But you've got to overcome fear if you're going to win.
You're tuned into the Cortez